guys, Martin here. Just gonna give you a couple quick updates on the 55-gallon rainbow tank. You can see all the fish are doing great. This one fish here, I have been curing this fish for 2 weeks now. It had unbelievable rot on the side after it scraped itself in the tank. I managed to get rid of the rot. I managed to get the big scar to heal up and fill in, and it's now just about to start growing out its scales all over again. So that's the update on the rainbow fish that I'm curing, and I want to bring the focus back to the plants as well. One of my older videos a couple months ago, this plant was in total ruin. There's two of them in here, swordtail in the back, swordtail here. There may be a couple side little ones as well, and one other plant. But this plant was totally devastated. All the leaves were going brown except for one or two. What I've done is I've cut off everything with scissors that was brown for leaves. I took all that out, left a little bit of green leaves, and now with a little bit of care, a couple months later, this plant is now about twice the size what it used to be. So pruning the plants and removing all the brown leaves is key to making sure it flourishes for you. And I'll give you guys one more little tip that I figured out on my own. Oh, and this plant here is just growing insane. And I already have people interested in getting some of this plant off of me, so that'll be good. Once it grows a little bit, I have some of that to give away to my friend. Now, the trick I wanted to show you is something a little bit unusual for these plants to get nutrients in the tank. I do not know why this works for me, and it may or may not work for you either, but I do have a chemical that I picked up for my saltwater tank, and it's just reef, and it just adds a little bit of chemical here. I put a little bit of a cap full into the tank once in the blue moon, and for whatever reason, these plants absolutely flourish whenever I use this. And I don't do it a lot. I do it very little because it's not meant for freshwater tanks, but it does seem to add something to the water that is beneficial in some form or fashion. So that's one of the chemicals I do add once in a while. And yeah, I do have a ram, a little blue ram in the back. I still have the blue fish here. Still have the shark. Everything else is doing absolutely great. I just recently re-added my fish back to the tank. Some of the bottom cleaners. They've been re-added, and they're up in some Cory catfish I've re-added that used to be in the tank originally before I decided to switch to rainbow fish. So they're back in the tank. And what else am I doing? Well, another thing I'm doing for this tank, because I want this to be a really green tank. I want the sides of the walls to be green. I want the back completely covered in moss. most of the bottom floor as well. And how am I going to do this? Well, it's going to take a long time because I picked the moss ball as something that I'm going to basically cover all the bottom of the tank with. Now, the moss balls are expensive. They're about $10 each. But if you get the big moss ball and let it grow a little bit, you'll see that it'll get a little bit chunky on the side. You can rip off a little chunk like this, and it'll grow into its own little moss ball. Now, I've done that several times already, so I have like a couple little moss balls around, but eventually that's what I will be doing. I'll be throwing them into this tank. It has extremely good lighting for the plants, and I'll keep on splitting the moss balls over and over to cover the whole bottom of the tank, and then I'll bring in some additional things to make this a really nice green tank. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the tank as much as I am. I'm working on it constantly. So my tank does have a fan to keep the current going in the tank. It has a sponge filter. I shut down the actual filter, the actual canister filter I used to have here. The sponge filter is doing a great job. You can see that everything's pretty clean as far as water goes and water quality goes. Even my blue ram in the back is not complaining. So yeah, that's a really basic tank. It's got plants, stones, a little bit of gravel, some soil, couple pieces of driftwood, and rainbow fish. They may look like, if you've seen rainbow fish in the stores, they may look like, oh, I can't keep this fish, it's too beautiful. It's because they come in different colors and they're absolutely stunning. But these fish are very, very durable fish for water quality. I would say that's almost a good beginner fish. They can do quite a bit with even a little bit of a poor water quality. So that's just an overview of the tank. This is a 55-gallon tank, and you guys will continue to see me updating it and creating some funky videos with it. But I thought I'd show you the progress on this fish healing from a tremendous fungus rot. Hopefully we'll see that completely healed in a week or two. An update on the plants and just some general knowledge I've picked up as I built the tank up. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, stay tuned for more, and we'll go through some other tanks later.